Yo, what's up, Quaver here, and I wanted to talk today about a simple concept that a lot of my students have had a hard time trying to go ahead and practice, as well as trying to nail the first few times. Oddly enough, it's vibrato. A long time ago, it seemed like the first thing I wanted to go ahead and actually do when I picked up my guitar was do some type of bend, some type of phrasing, anything I can come up with, but I basically did it like this. And I pulled with my fingers. Yeah, at first it seemed like a great way of trying to go ahead and actually add in some flavor, some spice to my playing. It didn't actually turn out that well. So one of the better ways of trying to go ahead and actually do vibrato is actually not bending with your fingers. That's the key to it. What you can do is actually use your wrist and pivot. The best way to do that is just like this. All right, so the best way to go ahead and actually get vibrato is actually not by pulling with your fingers. Yeah, it seems like it at first, but the best way to go ahead and actually get a sustainable amount of musical tone to this, as well as stability, is actually by holding your fingers down and simply pivoting with your wrist. I'm actually not pulling with my fingers at all. I'm basically just locking my finger down and using my wrist to pivot with. That's it. I'll even put it on a clean channel so you can go ahead and actually hear a difference between them. So that was on clean. Here's what it's like with a little distortion. And all I was doing was basically the simple practice of holding my fingers down and not moving them at all, locking them into place, and pulling down with my wrist. All I'm doing is just pressing on that note, and I'm actually just holding it and pulling my finger like this. I'm not pulling it at the joint like this. I'm simply holding it and bending my wrist. I'm not using my finger at all, except I'm pulling my finger along with my wrist. It's like a pivot motion. Oddly enough, Paul Gilbert talks about it, Stevie Ray Vaughan talks about it, as far as this is a better way of doing vibrato because it's a much more controlled sustainability. And oddly enough, it was developed a lot by B.B. King. And some of the soulful playing as far as blues, you got to hand it to him because it sounds much better. Well, I hope that was helpful. So vibrato is one of those things that if you're able to go ahead and get it down and practice at it, it's going to make a world of difference when it comes to anything you're able to write, your solos, your leads, any amount of your phrasing. It adds just that little bit of flair that sounds really good. Well, see you later.